Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today with us we have Ubuntu 25.10 questing Quokka, and I'm really excited about this release. Like it or not, Ubuntu has one of the largest install bases in Linux, and often this would be your first entry point to the world of Linux. So I guess we can go ahead and discuss about it just right now. Okay, welcome to Ubuntu. First, we're going to go ahead and try to install Ubuntu. We're not actually going to go ahead and install, we're just going to go through the steps. So this is the choose your language, which is going to be English. Accessibility options up front in Ubuntu. I do love seeing that. And then you get to select your keyboard layout. Also type and test your keyboard, so that's something which is pretty good. You can connect to the internet. Of course, I'm inside a virtual machine, so it detects my Wi-Fi as a wired connection. Nothing I can do about that. And then you do have some updates, which we're not going to worry about right now. So we're going to skip updates, and we would love to have an interactive installation instead of an automated install with a autoinstall.yaml file. So this would be important where you have a computer lab, for example, in a university, and you want to set up all the different computers with the same consistent installation. So you would want to create a custom YAML script file and then have repeatable systems, as many of them as you would like. But right now, we're going to go ahead and interactive installation is the path we're going to choose because we're normies. And then you do get the option to either have a default selection or have an extended selection. So for default selection, just the essentials. Okay, so for example, the web browser, basic apps, basic utilities, that's all you're going to get. But if you choose the offline friendly version or the extended selection version, this is going to give you all of the office tools, the utilities, the web browser, that is Firefox, of course. Now, my point is, if you downloaded this ISO, it was 5.81 gigabytes in size, if I'm not really wrong, but it was around 5 gigabytes, more than 5.5 at least, if I remember correctly. Okay, and for example, if you are somebody who doesn't have access to a whole lot of internet, or internet is very expensive in your area, it was definitely for me. Before we got Wi-Fi, I had to take Wi-Fi for my office and I get reimbursement, so that's a different story. But anyway, internet was for me kind of expensive. But so what I would recommend is if you downloaded 5.81 gigabytes using your mobile hotspot or whatever, and you had expensive mobile data, then you can definitely go ahead and choose the extended installation, because you would want your apps to be there and not have to download them again from the internet that you paid so much for. And of course, you are going to install the third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware. That is, I mean, it's unimaginable not to give a tick on that. And you also would have to download all your additional support files for additional media formats, for example, MP3, MP4, MOV, all of that good stuff. Okay, let's click on next, and now you can either install Ubuntu by erasing the disk, or you can go ahead and proceed with a manual installation. So for manual installation, we do get a 26.84 gigabytes. So this is like what I allocated to the virtual machine. So this is the VDA. What you can do is you can go ahead and change that. So for example, this is the mount point, this is the root partition. You can change it to your home partition, boot partition. So you can do whatever you want. If you want to go ahead with the manual root, this is gparted, and I believe you would already know this page if you are on this page. So yeah, I mean, one piece of advice, if you are doing a manual install, you might want to have your home partition in a separate partition, in a separate physical partition, because yeah, it's always good to have backups on a separate device. But if anytime your operating system starts acting up, you just want to reinstall, I generally tend to play safe and have the home partitions on a separate partition so that I don't really lose all of my data when reinstalling, and accidents do happen. This is software after all. Okay, so we're not going to go ahead and mess with this. We're going to go ahead and erase the disk to install Ubuntu. It's going to erase everything like the name suggests. And of course, we're not going to go ahead with any encryption, but if you do, which is kind of recommended, then you would have to remember your passphrase or say goodbye to everything you had on your computer. Create your account. You will enter your name. It'll give you a computer's name. This is your username. And then you can enter your password, which of course, we are done with the weak password joke. I mean, I think people have been doing that joke for quite a few years now. And then you are going to be requiring your password to log into your computer. You click on next, you choose your city, your time zone, and it shows you a final review list of your choices. So it's going to erase the disk and install Ubuntu on your virtual drive with an extended selection of applications and with no disk encryption and with additional codecs and drivers to be installed. We're not going to go ahead and install. We're going to press back, or we can just quit the application, and this is the welcome screen to Ubuntu. Now, Ubuntu does have a lot of things. So this is the penultimate version from your 26.04 next year, which is going to be an LTS release. So this is going to be really important. Now, this does come with a whole new set of apps and a whole new set of things. So for example, before we dive right in, by the way, we're just going to go ahead and take a very basic tour of the desktop. So this is your workspace layout. You do get two workspaces default. I mean, I think all of you guys know this stuff, but anyway, I'm going to repeat it just again. This is the type to search. So this is very powerful search in GNOME, and then you do get your notification drawer, and then your calendar, events, world clocks over here, and then the app indicator for accessibility, which I think is really cool that they put it up here, and then the control center from where you can either take a screenshot, open the settings app, turn off your computer, suspend or restart, or log out for that matter. And then you can also change your network connections, change the power mode from balance to power saver or to high performance even. And then you can also go ahead and enable dark style, which I think looks pretty good, although I think this black wallpaper might not be best suited for the attractiveness of the video. And you can also turn on Do Not Disturb, which I think I should go ahead and do right now. Another thing, since this is GNOME 49, if you happen to log out, you're gonna be greeted with your GDM screen, okay? And at the right corner, I'm not logging out because this is inside a virtual machine and it breaks the immersion just a little bit. But if you were to log out, in the bottom right corner, it would show you your accessibility button, just like this, instead of the GDM button for changing your session manager. So as of now, you do get Wayland only. You don't have X11 anymore. You can't change to it. As of now, as of this beta, I don't think it's coming back. And I guess this was a long time coming, and they finally took the jump, and you don't get that switcher anymore. And also to the bottom center, you're going to have your media player. So if you have anything playing, you're going to have a tiny button to show that you have media playing going on. Okay. And then you do get your show apps button. So these are all your apps, a beautiful pagination arrow to distinguish, and you do get new apps. For example, this is the Tixis new app from GNOME 49. All of the apps are not updated, by the way. So for example, even though we do get the new Tixis app, we do get Papers, which is new. This is the new document viewer app, but I don't think we get the new calendars as of now. At least when I tried to check calendars for the new features, like it doesn't have a collapsible sidebar, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. Maybe this is what we're going to see in the final release, or maybe it's going to be changed. I don't think it's going to be changed because features get locked down way before, right? I mean, we had the UI freeze just a couple of days ago, and then from this point on, it's just bug fixes. But if it does change, I'll be happy to say that they did include a lot of GNOME 49 apps or updates for the apps. For example, we do get the old video player Totem as of now in this beta, but in the actual GNOME 49, this was changed over to Showtime, which is the next generation replacement, and it does have a few cool features that people might want to use. So let's just talk about what's new in Ubuntu 25.10, and we're going to talk about it is released with the Linux Kernel 17. So we can open Terminal, which is the new Tixis app, and I think it looks absolutely beautiful. You can go to About, and it says Terminal. It doesn't say Tixis GNOME for some reason. They changed the name to the generic names, which I think is an okay move. And if you do uname A, you will be able to see that this is 6.17 generic kernel. And so they are keeping on their promise of updating Ubuntu's kernel, not like Pop! OS where they pop out these new kernels as soon as they drop with testing, of course. And that's super handy for gaming, by the way. So for example, this time around, they do have the Mesa 25.2 graphics stack, for example. So yeah, this if you have an Intel Arc or AMD graphics card, it's going to help you out immensely because your gaming drivers are baked into that Mesa stack. If you are on NVIDIA, then you can just download your graphics software and you're good to go. And you also get OpenGDK 25, OpenSSL 3.5, Python 3.13, LLVM 20, Boost 1.88, all that good stuff. Okay. And by the way, one of the big things that this time around that has changed is the default implementation of sudo. It has changed. So let's open Terminal again. I shouldn't have really closed it. And so for example, if you type something like sudo apt install Kause. This is one of my favorite programs ever to exist on Linux. This is going to be actually using sudo rs. So sudo rs is the Rust implementation of sudo. So if you do man sudo rs, I guess man shouldn't have anything different. But again, this is the sudo rs, which is the Rust implementation of sudo. And you don't even have to type sudo rs. So what you're going to do is, so quit. So if you type sudo apt and then anything install, this sudo has been aliased to use sudo rs by default. And of course you do have the old sudo as well. So to retain backwards compatibility or wherever that is required. Let's go back to our Firefox, and you do also get other stuff like Dracut as the default intra MFS tool. And then you do get Crony as the new NTP client, NVIDIA Dynamic Boost support for gaming. So this is pretty good. TPM backed full disk encryption, recovery key management, Rust based core utils, and like we already talked about, a Wayland only session for Ubuntu desktop. We also talked about the apps. So we do get GNOME's Tixis as the new default terminal, and then Loop as the new default image viewer instead of Eye of GNOME. So I think since this article doesn't mention the rest, I think the other apps are not going to come. For example, Showtime's not going to come. We are still getting Totem on Ubuntu, even though GNOME has moved ahead. So now that we're done with this, let's go to I guess we could take a look at the apps. So we do get clocks, additional drivers, calculator, settings, all that good stuff. And like I said, if you are downloading the 6 gigabytes of the ISO, you might as well just go ahead and have the extended selection installed onto your computer instead of downloading stuff again from the internet. So this is the settings page. I guess we could talk about settings right now. So this is the bog standard GNOME. I mean, it looks beautiful. It is really beautiful. Let's go to system. So this is the software updates portion. We're going to go to about, and you can see Ubuntu, beautiful logo. Questing Quokka, it says development branch, and then you do get system details about my computer or the virtual machine that I am in, and it does say Wayland. It also says GNOME 49, and the virtualization is KVM, of course, because this is what I am using. Apart from that, we do get the standard stuff. For example, Bluetooth, of course, it's not going to be available inside a VM. Orientation for displays is standard stuff. You do get fractional scaling, so that is good, and that's turned on by default. Nightlight, again, not available in GNOME inside a VM, but surprisingly in KDE Plasma, Nightlight is available even if you are inside a virtual machine. That's something to note. For sound, pretty much standard stuff. Power, you get balanced and power saver. For GNOME, I had it installed on my VM, and I saw that it did include the option to have high performance. I'm not really sure why it isn't showing up over here. Maybe if you had it installed on your bare metal, you would actually get that. You could also turn off the screen after a delay, and you can set the delay time. Multitasking, this is pretty much box standard. Hot corners, active screen edges, you guys all know about that. And then we do get the Ubuntu desktop and the appearance. So I think we're going to go ahead with the Ubuntu desktop, and we're going to keep the wallpapers just a little bit later for in the video. So this is the size of the desktop icons. So we can change them to large, we can change them to small, and I think normal is the one that I would prefer. You can change positions to top right as well. So this would be for Mac OS. Mac OS does it like this, and honestly, it's okay, it's fine. And obviously what I want to do is I want to have the home folder to be displayed, because you won't have this displayed, right? So it's just going to be this on your new computer or this. So I do like the home folder over there. If you don't, if you want a clean desktop, you can always go ahead and turn it off. And then you can auto hide the dock, which I don't really like. So you can auto hide the dock. It won't always auto hide, but it would hide only if you have a window over it. So this is kind of like the dodge mechanism. And it also has the panel mode. So I mean, panel mode is fine for when it's over to the left, but when I change the position to the bottom, it kind of looks like Windows, but the icons are a little bit cluttered up over here. So what I like to do is change it to the dock mode. And even though it's a little bit cluttered, I guess, but it looks fine. It looks amazing. Like, it completely has that Mac OS kind of vibe, and I really dig that. You can hit on Mac OS, but I dig this look. I dig the look of Mac OS, especially Mac OS Tahoe. It's fantastic, at least look-wise. And yes, it harkens back to the Windows 7 days. Arrow is my favorite, by the way, and I liked it. It's nostalgia, even if nothing else. And you can also configure the dock behavior, so you can include unmounted volumes, include network volumes. I do like to keep these off, so you can just turn that off. And you always want to show your trash, which is standard stuff. Who doesn't want to show their trash on the home screen? And you do get enhanced tiling as well, so it would show you a list of open apps to fill the empty space after tiling a window. So for example, if you do this, it would show you another app which you would want to fill that screen with. For some reason it didn't work, but that's okay. Okay, for some reason it's not working. Maybe it's because it's a beta, but it should have worked, and you should have had two displays, two windows on the same display. Then you can also tile groups. You can keep windows grouped together when tiled, so that raising one brings up to the group. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let's go back to the appearance portion, and we can talk about the new wallpapers. So this is the default wallpaper for the questing Quokka, and I really love this maze sort of line that just goes from here to there, although not really that convoluted. And it does have that small Ubuntu logo. That's really good. I have not really seen what a Quokka is. I might look that up after the video. And you do get other wallpapers, different variants for the Quokka. I can't really decide which one I like the best, but I think all of them look pretty decent, pretty good. The black variants look amazing as well. You can always get that when you turn on dark mode. And you do get a new wallpaper. So man, I love this abstract art for the camels. I'm not really sure what kind of art style this is. Don't quote me on anything, but this is pretty good. I do like this as well. Man, this is fantastic. So I do love this. This is pretty good. Beautiful, beautiful lightning, man. I've always wanted to photograph lightning. Never really had the chance in my life, but I'm gonna try to do that once before I die. And then you do get a macro shot of flowers. This looks pretty good. Pretty creamy bouquet. That's amazing. And then you do get beautiful abstract wallpapers with the Ubuntu logo, flowers, and I guess Christmas decorations. It looks fantastic. So which wallpaper am I going to stick to for the video? Let's just do this one, or maybe this one. I think this one looks clean, man. This one looks absolutely clean. Man, I don't want to be stuck here forever, but I do get stuck up here forever. Let's just keep it, since this is a video related to a Quokka. And I closed out my settings app. Okay, so again, you do get the apps, so you can choose your default apps, pretty much bog standard stuff, which I think all of you guys already know. Notifications, do not disturb, lock screen notifications, standard stuff, search, online accounts. So you can include whatever online account you have, that's okay. Sharing, and so you can enable media sharing, that's pretty good. You can share folders, videos, pictures, so you can share these folders, and you can add a folder, and you can choose what network. This is the I guess the default allocated name by the virtual machine for my network. That's okay. We're going to turn it off, and then you do say, it does say that media sharing allows streaming pictures, music, and video to DLNA enabled devices on the current networks. For this, so this is for this. This is for someone who doesn't actually know what this is. One of the better things this time around is the well-being app. So for example, I have this device on for 33 minutes. We're going to try out the screen time limit. Everything is going to go dark, so watch out for that. And this is the grayscale Akira Kurosawa mode. Looks pretty good, by the way. Looks fancy. Looks really good. Some people say that this is so that if you don't see colors, you're not going to be as interested, but some people may dig it. So you do you. We're gonna turn it back off. Let's welcome back to the land of color. And then you can also have break reminders to remind you to look away, to keep on walking, and to take breaks. And then it also plays a sound when the break ends, so you don't miss your deadline on your freelance project. You do get mouse and touchpad, keyboard, color management, pretty much standard stuff, and that does it. And that about does it for the settings. Of course, there's a lot of things. I'm not going to go into all of those, but overall, this is it for settings. And now let's go over and talk about the software center. So this is the App Center. I think this was completely rewritten for Ubuntu, and this is not the GNOME software center, by the way. This was written separately for Ubuntu. Like I said, it even looks different. I think they have done this for a few years now, or a few releases at least, and it's beautiful. It has the Explore, Featured, Productivity, Development, Game section. So I think it looks okay. It looks I mean, I love this look, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. You do get these little dots and the pictures haven't loaded up of course, that's okay. You do get little cards, so Discord, and these are mostly Snap apps, so don't throw the remote at me. I'm just the messenger, okay? And it says that this is the latest stable. You can change it to the beta, which is, I guess, the candidate. That's how they say it. And this was published on September 16th, so very, very recent. And it does have a lot of votes. You do get beautiful screenshots. You can scroll through them. I really love how they look, and this hasn't loaded. And there we go. So beautiful screenshots. I guess if you wanted to, you could click on them and then it would increase, and then you could scroll through them if you liked. So that's pretty good. You do get a beautiful description, and I think that's it. I mean, you don't really have anything else. And then you do get links and stuff over here. So this is comparable to the GNOME Software Center. I think I like it. That's all I'll say. And it's fast as well. But if you are looking for the fastest App Center, Software Manager, Software Center, whatever you want to call it, go ahead and download Pop! OS and you try to use the Cosmic App Store. Okay, that's lightning fast. And at the bottom, you do get the categories, and then you do get a couple of cards. All of this just to make it look pretty, and I really love it. It looks very pretty. And you do get manage, so this is where you manage the installed snaps. So it is asking for me to update all of the apps. So Core 22 Base Snap, Ubuntu Desktop Bootstrap, and then you do also get a list of your installed and updated apps. So everything is over here, handy dandy. Okay, so with that, I think we are done with the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a blast to talk about Ubuntu, and I mean, there are a few things I might have missed. So let me know down in the comments which flavor of Ubuntu, if you like, if you use Ubuntu at all, or if you have jumped ship to any other Linux operating system a long time ago. So with that, we come to the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.